Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where we'll be bringing you some more great Grandmaster games off the ladder. So these games have been played fairly recently and between some great high level players. So in the bottom right hand corner we have LiquidTLO, well known to the Starcraft community for being one of the more innovative and interesting Zerg players to watch. One of my personal favourite Zerg players, and of course he plays for Team Liquid. In the top left hand corner we have CMStorm Polt. I think Polt needs very little introduction as WCS Season 2 America Grand Champion, so taking home $20,000 in prize money. You can see those games here on the channel as well, and tearing it up in Season 3. So fantastic Terran player, one of the best players in the world currently, and this should be an exciting matchup. The map is of course Belshir Vestige, so it's quite easy for players to secure their natural, and generally turns into 2 or 3 base play. But we have seen some longer macro games develop on the map, so we'll see what this game has in store for us today. You know, when these two players are facing off, it's hard for me to decide who exactly to cheer for. Massive fan of TLO, has been one of my favourite players since I started watching StarCraft, and just, you know, you get great games out of him every time. But then you have Polt, whose Terran play is just so clinically precise that you know, it's hard not to have a great deal of respect for him. Whereas TLO can break out just about any build you can imagine, from early Baneling Roach timings to crazy Nidus network goodness. Polt plays very differently. He plays almost when he's playing, particularly in tournament, plays almost the same style of ZVT or TvZ in every single game that he plays. So it'll be interesting to see if when he's playing on ladder, if he mixes it up or if he chooses to go for his stock standard build, which is just incredibly reliable, where he gets a 2 or 3 base macro and just breaks the Zerg player with an unrelenting bio stream. His multitasking just incredible. As you can see, even at this early stage of the game, it's at 200 APM. We have a Reaper Scout coming out of Polt now. Looks like a second Reaper following up. So this is a bit different to what we're seeing out of him in WCS Season 3. We have TLO's expansion down at the natural, spawning pool up, and Queens on the way at both hatcheries. So we'll see if this Reaper can get any kills. It's likely to get great scouting, but with TLO's micro, it's doubtful that he'll get a whole lot of drone kills. So we'll see as these drones get lower, TLO will pull them off the line and then turn them into a building. He can cancel this later on if he needs to. TLO, oh, there you go. 2 drones saved, no kills for the Reaper, and then he can cancel those drones and send them back to work. So have this Queen dropping a creep tumor so that the units can move a little bit quicker on the creep, spread that creep around. We now have 2 Reapers, so they're starting to pose a bit of a threat from Polt. And these Reapers will try and poke away at the Queens and Zerglings and try and pick up any kills they can get. The most important thing though is the scouting intel that these Reapers will get. Oh, 1 drone goes down, first blood in this match. So let's see what these players have on the way. We can see Polt quickly dropping his factory, has a reactor now on his barracks, and he's going to start producing Marines. We have TLO likewise being annoying with a few Zerglings. That'll force these Reapers to come back, as that was slowing down his expansion on the low ground. So these Reapers will clean up these Zerglings and prevent any more harassment there. See Polt swapping out his factory onto the reactor. So will we see Hellions or will we see Widow Mines? Indeed we see Hellions, 2 Hellions on the map. So it's likely Hellions work quite well with the Reapers, so we may well see some sort of Reaper Hellion timing here. If we look at what TLO's got on the way, hasn't got any other tech structures yet, just droning up quite heavily. We can see him quite a substantial distance ahead. 36 drones or 34 drones now that he's dropped these Evo chambers to 26 SCVs, so slight economic lead that'll be made up for quite well with these mules that are dropped currently. starport on the way, so likely for some medevacs. Polt loves his bioaggression, so likely that we'll see that starport produce a Viking. He'll use these to hunt down the overlords, then he'll likely drop a reactor and start producing medevacs out of it. Have quite a substantial force of Hellions and Reapers moving out. They will pick off this Queen, which is unfortunate for TLO. Creep spread starting to move towards this third base, but these units can't do very much damage to buildings at all. A few speedlings on the map now, but probably not quite enough to clean this up. We see Polt continuing to add Hellions onto this aggression, so his hatchery already at 2/3 health. So if TLO isn't careful, he could lose this one entirely. He's likely just getting enough Zerglings for us round. Indeed, we see them move in from both sides. He will pin them in the choke. Great move from TLO, able to pick off these Hellions. This is a big pickup for TLO. Some good Hellion micro, able to fry some of those Zerglings. Unfortunately got most of the units to half health, but unable to clean up those units. More units on the way from TLO. Big surround. You can see the level of micro involved to pin these Hellions, so that well, unfortunately feeding them into the choke, that will be quite a lot of Zerglings going down here. But cleans up those Hellions, and if we go to the units lost tab, we can see that it's relatively even. TLO having lost just a little more than Polt, but having secured his third base now, he should be able to more than make up for those losses. This matchup quite often becomes an efficiency game for Terran. The Zerg expands quite quickly, and we can see that Viking up to two kills. Very I was going to say a very satisfied look on the pilot's face, but it's a bit hard to tell with that helmet. So you can see this Viking trying to move to deny TLO's Overlord site on the map. And see, TLO has in fact taken Overlord speed to try and pick up the movement speed of these Overlords, make them more useful for scouting. We have the third command center on the way from Polt, so likely we'll see quite a strong macro out of both these players. Onto the production tab, we see 1 armor on the way for TLO. We also see +1 weapons, +1 armor, and combat shields on the way from our Terran player Polt. We can see quite a lot of Zerglings and Banelings out here in the middle of the map, so we'll see if Polt's able to hold. If he loads up this medevac now, he could be in a fair bit of trouble. Oh, that Widow Mine. Oh, it's possible that TLO was able to see that divot from the Widow Mine. He managed to pull back just in time, and we see these Banelings able... Oh, not quite the connection he wanted there. But you can see Polt rushing to produce more Widow Mines to secure the front of his base. He's moved his third base over and has a Widow Mine here to pick off run bys as well. See TLO going straight for that. These Widow Mines getting big kills here, 3 on one and 2 on the other. Though if TLO can shut down the mining at this third base, it will set Polt back quite substantially. He wants to try and starve Polt out as best he can. Lots of Zerglings on the map. We have +2 weapons, +2 armor on the way for TLO. And has his infestation pit down, is now going up to Hive, so it's likely that we could see Zergling Ultralisk or something similar out of TLO this game. He would have to know from past experience that 16 kills. We have a Captain Widow Mine here and 4 on another. His Widow Mine's hugely cost effective against Zerg, as you'll be able to see on the units lost tab. That gap continues to widen now to 1300 minerals. So you've got to be extremely careful, as particularly if you're going for this Zergling, Baneling sort of start. We have a few Widow Mines moving down here. They've picked up another 11 kills. So if TLO isn't careful, these Widow Mines are going to be the unseen assassins that undo his forces. Now this is fairly characteristic of Polt. Once he gets his medevacs at the 11 or 12 minute mark, he moves out with biomines, just able to put immense pressure on 4th bases. TLO dropping bases number 4 and 5. Playing this exceptionally greedy. This mine will pick up the drone if it cancels. But we have this big force moving out in the middle of the map. TLO pulling this creep highway back. TLO's always been very innovative with his creep tumors, using the Overlord to drop creep and the Queen to drop tumors out in the middle of the map. Well, the mines are back. Oh, this could be a great connection. No Baneling speed, unfortunately, is going to allow those units to get away. Polt unloads back on the high ground, ready to put some more aggression. This creep is just so crucial. Baneling speed now finishing. These Zergling Banelings going to move up to try and clean up this amount. And great connections from the Baneling. All those Marines get cleaned right up. You can see TLO's now going to have to go for a counter attack, try and put some pressure on the third base of Polt, but as we can see, he's walled off and has quite a substantial number of Widow Mines out in the middle of the map. This Viking continuing to be a nuisance, picking up Overlord kills. Ooh, big detonations on that Widow Mine there, but fortunately at least the splash damage was able to take out the Widow Mine. The Widow Mine here detonating on the lava. Infestors now coming out from TLO, and we see him transitioning into this Infestor Ultralisk sort of composition. I don't know where that Ultralisk cabin's been tucked away. If we go to building, where has he? Yep, here it is. Sorry, wow, I'm blind right in front of my face. Ultralisk cabin on the way with chitinous plating. We have TLO trying to save his base here with a small force of Zergling Banelings while he counters out in the middle of the map. Oh, big drop here is going to put a lot of pressure on this fourth base. This is what Polt really excels at, this multi-pronged aggression. We can see him putting pressure here on the fourth and fifth bases. Fifth base being cleaned up by Zergling Banelings, but these Marines will pick off this hatchery, and that's a big pickup for Polt here in this game. Widow Mine able to prevent these reinforcements. You'll see Widow Mines in front and behind. That's to stop the Zerg units getting this around. They need to take out this force. More Zerglings being fed into the meat grinder. A really bad day to be a Zergling in TLO's army. But the Ultralisks now are out on the field. Chitinous plating finished, giving those Ultralisks a phenomenal 5 armor. So they will eat Marines all day long, particularly with fungal growths able to lock the Marines in place, because normally Marines will stim and try to run away, but once they've been fungal, they will be so easy for these Ultralisks to clean up. So you can see on a Marine, they do 8 damage. With the Ultralisk's 5 armor, it's reduced to 3, 500 armor, 500 health on an Ultralisk, sorry, and it will take almost 200 shots to kill. So with a very small Marauder composition, there's very little that can kill these Ultralisks. We do have one Marauder and a few Widow Mines. They will be able to do some damage, but these Ultralisks are just going to clean up this force. TLO being forced back while he waits for further reinforcements. The Thor being able to do substantial damage. Once he goes down though, these Marines will be pinned up here on the high ground. And the big happy Ultralisk giving cuddles to every Marine. Just a bad day to be a Marine. This Ultralisk just killing Marines all day long. Polt picking up, he has the option to go into the main base, but TLO has picked up on that. Ultralisk down here. Now that is the worst time in the world to unload a medevac right onto a waiting Ultralisk. It's dinner time, and TLO cleans up that drop very quickly. TLO being able to stabilise here, and we see Polt's dropping a 4th base. That will be a planetary fortress, or another big detonation for these Widow Mines. 10 kills. TLO really needs to clean these up and clean up this Viking that's giving Polt such a great sight. We can see 14 kills. These Widow Mines are being the silent killers of the Terran force today, and it's so hard as Zerg to play against this sort of strategy. You work so hard to clean up the bio, but every time you forget, one of these Widow Mines will get a great detonation. It's just so macro intensive. I know when I play as Zerg, it's so difficult to take on this style, because you're forced. Zerg normally are a very micro-intensive race, and wow, minefielddetonation.com. You're forced to micro so heavily at your base to keep your lava, keep units spawning to hold this off. These Ultralisks will clean up the Widow Mines. You're forced to micro at your base, produce units, use your queens to constantly inject lava, and there's just so many things you got to focus on, particularly playing against a player of Polt's skill level. Taking down that base yet again. Polt putting the pressure on TLO. TLO will go for the base trade, stop this command center before it can become a planetary. He has to break through and catch these Marines. Great fungal lair, catching lots of the medevacs, lots of the Marines and Marauders. Can he break into this base? There's not a lot of Marauders on the field yet for Polt. We see 5 Marauders, 23 Marines. These Ultralists could break into this base, and that would be massive for TLO here, but unfortunately the Ultralists caught in the choke, and TLO forced a GG out of the game. What an excellent game from both these players. Polt showing just what it is that makes him such a consistent and fantastic player. TLO are doing quite well, but unfortunately, as I said before, it's so macro intensive to play Zerg against Terran, and when you're playing against a player of Polt's skill level, it's so hard to continue to inject lava, produce the units you need to hold off just one attack, let alone thinking about counter-attacking into these bases and trying to stop Polt's multi-prong aggression. We had constant pressure on the 4th and 5th base, strategy that Polt has employed successfully against many a Terran, many a Zerg on this map, and unfortunately for TLO, probably should have gone for this base, as the natural was mined out and the 3rd base was rapidly diminishing. So if he could have taken out this base and tried to keep Polt in his base, he would have done considerably better than trying to engage here in a choke and taking the heavy casualties that he did. But excellent game out of both these players. We love TLO, we love Polt, so glad to be casting their games here on the channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Go ahead and the standard plug, share us on Facebook, Twitter, whatever your social media site of choice is. We'd love to increase our presence here on YouTube, so go ahead and subscribe, tell your friends about us, and we'll be having more Grandmaster level games coming up in the next cast. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you in the next video.